Hey heroes, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. In today's Diablo IV video, I'm going to show you the fastest way to set up a rogue that'll absolutely melt faces that you can use. Remember to like and subscribe so you can see more time-saving guides on the games you love. If you want to just take my word for it, there are 6 abilities that we're going to use. Puncture, Twisting Blade, Poison Trap, Shadow Step, and the Poison and Shadow Imbuements. Before we get into it, let's quickly talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this type of Twisting Blade build. Strengths: insanely high single target DPS, simple button rotation requiring really only 2 skills to deal damage while being buffed by the others, requiring very few levels to form. Onto the weaknesses. There are less defensive options, so you're squishier than other builds. You'll be more effective in groups where others can draw aggro. You'll be slower at taking out groups of enemies. And finally, this build is extremely fast-paced and might be hard to track the action. So let's jump into the point allocation. Starting in the basic skills node, we'll obtain the Puncture Marksman skill that throws a dagger at your enemies, with every third cast having a 20% chance to slow, and any crits will slow enemies. From the outside, not a good looking ability. Get the Enhanced Puncture passive for it, and instead of spending your third point on a core skill, you can massively increase your DPS by selecting the Fundamental Puncture passive, which now throws 3 daggers at a time in a cone. This helps with dealing with a crowd, but if close enough, deals massive damage to a single target, like elites and bosses, as it'll apply vulnerable if at least 2 blades hits the same target. Now, in the core node, we'll select Twisting Blades. It deals direct damage to a target, making them take more damage while impaled, then, like Molineer, magically fly back to you, dealing damage to all enemies in its path. Now, saying that will likely make you feel like you have to quickly use Twisting Blades, then run away to make it deal maximum damage to the most amount of enemies. And I thought the same. But actually, if you're still attacking the same target, yes, it won't fly back and hit other enemies, but it'll still deal damage to the original target when it gets pulled out from the impalement. That's the trick to Twisting Blades, to stay on the same target and not get all hot and bothered spending time running away. And because of this, we don't take the advanced Twisting Blades passive, but the improved Twisting Blades that dazes the impaled enemy instead. That'll give you enough points to advance to the agility node. Up to you. I actually used dash for the first 30 levels of my rogue, which provides a great escape button and would allow you to use the advanced Twisting Blades passive. We pick Shadow Step that teleports you to your target and does a high amount of damage. If you make a mistake, Shadow Step allows you to walk through enemies and increase your move speed for a short time. We take the passive for it, which increases your crit chance, and then take Disciplined Shadow Step, which essentially halves your 9-second cooldown. You will have 2 free points now, which I put into Twisting Blades, which then opens up the Subterfuge skill node. Select Poison Trap, which is great if you have time to drop all 4, but is used because it has an extremely high amount of dot damage, but more importantly, the countering Poison Trap passive will help you with your future imbuements, giving you a 30% chance to reset an imbuement cooldown. We're almost there, heroes. Let's spend the last 2 points to get to the imbuement tree, essentially maxing out Twisting Blades. A good alternative can be Puncture, as these 2 skills are your bread and butter. Now, I'm using Shadow and Poison imbuements due to some legendary gear that I'm using, but if you're playing with an Ice build sorcerer, you can definitely switch either one for the Cold imbuement as well, which will help with crowd control. I haven't been able to fully test the branching passives for the imbuements on which one would maximize your damage, but I've selected Mixed Shadow and Blended Poison. And basically you're ready. As you can see in the gameplay, we start a fight by imbuing your weapon, then use Shadow Step to attack your enemy. This will use up one of your 2 imbuements. Then use Twisting Blade on the same target, which does high damage and makes the target take more damage. At this point, if you're surrounded by enemies, use the Poison Trap. Otherwise, activate your other imbuement and use at least 3 attacks of Puncture. This will do high damage, slow them down, and likely cause vulnerable. Hopefully, by now you've completed your Rogue Priority quest, which gives you combo points, meaning that those 3 puncture attacks have given you 3 combo points that'll dramatically increase the damage to your next Twisting Blade, which should be imbued before using it. Rinse and repeat. Honestly, that's it. Imbue, Twisting Blade, puncture, 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 Twisting Blade, puncture, puncture, puncture. It's like spin to win, but by impaling. And that's all we're going to talk about today. There are good legendaries out there that'll definitely help this build be better, but I'd rather you enjoy your playtime and take the thought out of making an effective character, at least at the beginning. If you like this, I have pinned in the comments below some important passives to select with your future points. If you check back later, I'll put out a video of a max level Twisting Blades build that'll take advantage of all of the allocatable points along with legendary gear that'll help you out. Check out the rest of my channel for other videos on Diablo 4, video games, board games, and other fun things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.